Hi there, and welcome to our latest Cambly live session. I am Tutor Daryl. I'll be with you guys today. Before we start officially, send us a message, say hello, tell us where you are from so we can shout out and say hi. To those of you that don't know, Cambly is a great online and web-based platform where you can get one-on-one lessons with tutors like me in anything that you need. I'll explain a bit more later. I see people are saying hello already. Hello from Iraq. Keep it coming so we know exactly where you're from. Hello from South Korea. Nice to see you again. Harry ho. Also, stay tuned until the end of today's lesson. I'll be giving a special code which you guys can use to get a big discount. I think it's up to 36% or something like that. So I'll give that at the end. I see some more coming through here. Sri Lanka, hello from Poland. All right, nice to have you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Just while we wait for everyone to get on board, I'll explain quickly what we're going to do today. So today we're going to look at the word said. And I think it's very common that non-natives use said a lot. When you write, when you talk, when you explain, said is the word that we use. He said this, she said that, they said, he said, we said, and it becomes a little bit repetitive. So today, what we're doing is we're going to go through all the different, well, not all, because there's a lot of them, but we're going to go through a lot of different alternatives that you can use instead of said. And this is going to really help to expand your expression. We're going to explain why you want to use these. We're going to go through a little bit of introduction before we start, but it's really going to help you to take your English up a whole level. I see some more coming here. We've got, I'm from Pakistan, I'm from Qatar, Cambodia, India, Brazil, South Africa. Thank you for joining us. All right, so I think we're going to start. Also, remember that today's lesson is interactive. So as we go through the words, what I'd like you to do is to send sentences in the chat using those words. That'll also help you to understand them straight away. We can go through some of them, make sure everyone's using them correctly. Also, if you have any questions about the word said or about maybe a word you've heard that you think could be used instead of said, send the question and then we can take a look. All right, so let's look at why you want to use other words instead of said. I think the first obvious thing is variety. Okay, you don't want to use the same word over and over and over again, especially in speaking or writing. You want variety. You want to expand your expression. Also, this is useful for indicating emotion. Now, we're going to go through a lot of different groups of emotions, like what word to use when someone is angry, what word to use when someone is maybe scared or when someone is happy. Because by using those different words, we can actually indicate the emotion of that person. We can indicate if they were speaking loud, if they were speaking soft, what was their tone. And it can change the whole story and make your story richer and bigger and more interesting. So that's why you want to use these. Also, it'll help you feel more confident. I think a lot of times non-natives, they feel they don't have those words and they don't know how to express themselves properly. And, you know, they may not speak as much as they want. So having these words is going to make you feel more confident. You can express yourself a lot better. And it's very good for English exams. We've done a lot of IELTS preparation in these Cambly live lessons. There's also TOEFL, there's TOEIC. There are other English proficiency exams. And you want the variety and the expression and the emotion in your speaking and your writing for those exams. That's really going to get a higher band or a higher score. So that's very important for those exams. All right, so that's the why you want to use them. Now, where do you use them? Obviously, you're going to use them in speaking and in stories. So when you're telling a story, and this is especially useful for when you're on Cambly or you're in a conversation with a native And you want to really show that you know what you're doing and you know how to show the expression of the emotion of the story. You want to use these. And it'll make it more fun for you because you will get involved in the emotion of the story as well. You also want to use it for writing. It's especially useful for writing when you're either telling a story or when giving an opinion. Because again, those are emotional based things. And of course, these are also useful for a more formal way of writing, especially for the English proficiency exams. We're going to go through a few formal ways to explain when someone said something. And it's actually going to help you with listening. Because sometimes what happens is that you are listening to something and there's a word there and you don't know what that word is. So today we're going to go through a lot of them, and hopefully this will allow you to understand how to look up other words and then expand your ability to listen and understand the emotion and the way the story that you're listening to is progressing. So that is the where to use, the why to use. I'm going to come back to said versus told in a second. I want to first look at how to use. So how do you use these words? These words are all verbs, so we use them in the same way as any other verb. So the same tenses, present tense, past tense, future tense, continuous, perfect. The same tenses apply no matter what. Let's look at a quick example. I've got a simple one here, explain. I'm sure you guys know the word explain. I'm just going to explain it quickly. So explain is when you give extra information. So the teacher explained the class, or the teacher explained about the class, or the teacher explained to the class. So I'm giving extra information. And let's look at the tenses. He explained. Normal past tense, add the ed. He was explaining. Normal continuous past tense with the ing and the was. He explains, normal present tense. He had been explaining, same perfect tense. So everything is the same. These are not special words. They are just verbs. So that is the how do we use. And then, very important, how do you learn them? Now, we're going to go through quite a few today. Okay, we're going to see how many we can get through. And that's going to be quite a long list. How do you learn them? Now, the first thing that I think is useful for these is to write sentences. Just like I want you to do in the chat after the video. Maybe watch the video again, write down the words, write out sentences. Remember, writing and talking are active processes. There's a communication between the hand and the brain. And it's not just like looking at the word and saying, oh, I know that word. It's not like that. So write out sentences, write out all the different tenses. And then by doing that, you will actually get that into your brain. And then I like, and I've said this before in some other lessons, and I call it choose and use. Well, I'm calling it that now, is don't learn a list. Never learn a list, because then you're walking around with this list in your head and you never know which one to use, and you'll end up just using the simple one said all the time. So decide on a day, I'm going to use this word. That's the word I'm going to use. I'm going to use explain today. In a sentence, in a conversation, I'm going to find a place to put that in. And by being active about it, by putting it into a conversation, that is how you're going to learn it a lot better. You can do that when you're having a Cambly lesson or when you're speaking with a native. Decide today, I'm going to use this word. I'm going to put that into a sentence. All right, so that is why, where, how, and how to learn them. Now, before we get into them, I want to look at told, said versus told. Now, that's a lot of confusion about said and told, because people use them like they're the same thing, but they are a little bit different. Now, said is more useful. As we can see here, we can use that when we are talking about speaking to someone else. So the teacher said to the class. And I can also use said by itself. I don't need to have that other person. He said hello. That's it. I don't need to say he said hello to me. So I can use the to me or I can leave it out. Told, for the most part, I need to have that other person. So I can't really just say, he told hello, or he told how to do it. I need to say, who did he tell? He told the class how to do it. He told his friend how to do it. So told always needs that other person. So that's the difference. Said, we can use both by itself or to the other person. Told, I need to have that other person. All right. So now that we understand all of that, I think we're ready to start. Now, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to group these into emotions, because that's the whole point of this, to express our emotions. And we're going to kind of climb a ladder a little bit, starting at like very little emotion, anger. We're going to look at all the different emotional levels. So let's start. I'm going to just take this off the board. All right, so we're looking at a low emotional scale, and sometimes we call a low emotional scale neutral, because it's not good, it's not bad, it's in the middle. And we're going to start with a very simple one, which is to state. So state is just to give information. It's a little bit lower than explain. Explain is to give a lot of information, maybe go through the steps in something. To state is just to say something. So a very simple one could be, the car is red. He stated. That's it. There's no emotion there. He's not happy. He's not sad. The car is red. He stated. That's it. Low emotional level. Let's go up from that. Let's do explain, because it's in this kind of neutral area. So now we're going to give a little bit more information. So we're going to say, first, beat the eggs. So we're cooking something. First, beat the eggs. She explained. So now it's more than just stating, it's more than just giving information. It's giving more information about how to do something a little on a deeper level. Then another one that I like, that I think is good to use, that people don't, is agreed. So agreed is when I say, yes, what you're saying is correct. So we could say, yes, the car is red. They agreed. And this shows like there's a positive element to it. So it's not just saying, well, yes, the car is red, they said. They agreed. They are on the same level. They're on the same page. They know the same thing. And we can use disagreed. So I'm going to put it over here. So we can already see now we're starting to climb up some emotional levels. Now, no, I don't think the car is red. So I would say, no, it is green. He disagreed. And for agreed and disagreed, we can actually use them by themselves. So instead of saying, well, he said yes, or she said no, we can just say they agreed or they disagreed. And it shows conflict or no conflict, already getting more of that emotional level. So in the neutral so far, we've got state, stated, explained, agreed, or disagreed. And take a look here. These are one of those special verbs. We don't have to add on an extra ed. It's got its ed already. If I wanted to change this to a continuous tense, it would be agreeing or disagreeing. I would take off those eds. Let's look at a couple more neutrals, and then we'll move on to another emotional state. Now, this one shows the volume level that someone is speaking, and that can change the whole story. This is whispered. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know the word whispered. Whispered is when you speak in a low volume, and that could be indicating something. Maybe you're in a special place, a library or a haunted house, or maybe you're scared, or maybe you're speaking and there's someone else there. It changes the whole story, and it can help you show that emotion and expression. So let's say, I'm scared. The child whispered. So I'm scared. The child whispered. That shows a lot. Instead of saying, I'm scared, the child said. It shows volume, it shows emotion. And another one I want to do is offer. Now, offer is usually when I take something and I want to give it. That is offer. That's like the physical offer. Now, when I'm doing it in a speaking way, that means I am giving you information. You don't have to take it. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just offering the information. Maybe I'm offering a deal on something. It's not like I'm forcing you to do it. It's not a lot of emotion. I'm just offering the idea. So we could say, I'll do it. He offered. So I'll do it. I don't have to do it. You don't have to let me do it. But he's offering to do it. So I offered. He offered. I'll do it. All right, so those are our neutral ones. We're going to do one more emotional state, and then we're going to go to the chat, see how you guys are doing with these words. So we're going to go up to, and I want to jump to something interesting. We're going to do being angry. We're going to do being angry. So let's go for that. Now, angry and loud are very similar. Sometimes you can obviously be loud without being angry, all right? So a lot of these words you can use just for when someone is loud. Maybe they're loud because they're happy. I will indicate when something is specially for being angry. So this is loud or angry, all right? We'll start with some basic ones that I'm sure you guys know. Shouted, and a similar one to shouted is yelled. Now, I know you guys know those already, but I want to bring it up because it's often that happens is that a non-native will forget that those words exist and you said for that. So I want you to remember that these words, which you know already, you should use. All right, it indicates the volume, it can indicate excitement or the anger that someone has. It's the emotion. So let's think of something. Yes, they won, he shouted. So your team, your football team won. You're excited. Yes, they won. Yell has a slightly negative connotation. Slightly negative. It's not always a negative. Sometimes you can just yell to someone across the house, but yelling has a little bit of a negative attachment. So, for example, we could say, no, I don't want it. She yelled. So no, I don't want it. She yelled. She's loud. She's angry. She doesn't want this. There's a little bit of negativity there. Similar to shout and yell is scream and shriek. So I really like the word shriek. I think it is a little better than scream. Both of them mean that we're not just shouting. Shouting is like a loud voice. Screaming and shrieking, there's an element of danger. Okay, I'm screaming, could be also that I'm very upset, I'm very angry. Shrieking is a very loud, high-pitched voice. If you hear it, you know something is probably wrong if someone is shrieking. So let's say the house is on fire. The boy shrieked. So he's loud, he's screaming, he's really, really scared, he's really, really excited about this, not in a good way, and he's shrieking. The house is on fire, he shrieked. We could also use scream there, but you get the point of what's happening. And then, a nice one that I like to use is bellow. Now, bellow is more for writing. I would say not a lot of people are going to use this when they speak. Bellow is, again, to be loud, to shout, but it's a deep voice and it's a big, big voice. Think of someone high above you yelling in a deep voice. They are bellowing. So this is, I'm going to write it here, it's a deep, big, probably bossy voice. Deep, big, bossy voice, bellowing. All right, so let's say, no, give it to me. The father bellowed. So he's angry, he's upset, it's a big voice, deep, no, give it to me, bellowed. So there's emotion there. Then another one, still with the anger, is snap. Now snap, the word is like that movement, to snap. Now it's quick, but it's quick and it's loud. So it's when someone is really angry, or maybe they're very irritable, and you ask them a question and they say, no, that's not how we do it. It's quick, but angry. So it's not big, but quick. So quick and angry is to snap. Quick and angry. So I'm going to use the same one. No, I'm not hungry. He snapped. So maybe he's irritable, maybe something's happening. No, I'm not hungry. It's quick, a snap. All right, so those are the negative, angry, loud ones. We're going to go to the chat now, see what you guys have come up with, if there are any questions, and then we'll move on to some other emotional states. So let's take a look. All right, I see some already. It bugs me, he shouted. Thank you, Harry Ho. Very, very good. Help me, she shrieked. Excellent, excellent. Someone's asked, is it bellowed or beloved? Good question. Maybe my handwriting wasn't the best. Let me make sure that we understand. So bellowed, B-E-L-L-O-W-E-D, bellowed. Thank you for that question. Imtiaz Khan, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Let's see what else we have here. Someone else arriving late. I'm from Pakistan. Bangladesh, thank you for joining us. All right. My prime minister is good, he stated. Very, very good. Thank you. I'm going to try this. Dou Mengong. I hope I said that correctly. I apologize if not. Then what else do we have here? All right. All right. Don't touch it, he snapped. From Naparad. Yes, perfect. All right, those are looking good. Those are looking good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the opposite now. We've done loud and big and angry. Now we're going to do low energy, but there's still emotion there. So a lot of times you can have a low energy. Maybe you're upset about something. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're angry and tired. So we're going to look at how to explain those. Let's take a look. All right, so now we're looking at low energy, but emotional. Low energy, but emotional. Now, the first one I want to do here is groan and moan. Groan and moan. Now, this is when you are upset. Maybe you don't want to do something. Maybe you're tired. And your voice is going to be low, but a lot of emotion. So, for example, let's put it here. You could be tired and upset about something. So I'm going to say it like this. No, I don't want to do it. He groaned. And you can see from my body language there, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. My voice is low, but you can tell I'm not happy. about this. No, I don't want to do it. She groaned. We could use moan kind of interchangeably. Moan is, there's a little more sadness there. Like, no, I don't want to do it. That's moaning. So both of them are very similar. Groaning is a little more angry, and moaning maybe a little bit more sad. And I'm sure anyone who has a teenager will know all about groaning and moaning and hearing that a lot. All right, so that is groaning and moaning. Then similar, we have mumbling or muttering. I will write them down. So mumble or mutter. Now, this is when you say something and you don't want the other person to really hear. You want them to hear like that you're saying something, but you don't want them to properly hear what you say. So maybe your boss tells you to do something, you're like, oh yeah, like I really want to do that. So it's low. And you don't want them to hear it, but you want them to know that you're upset about it, but you don't want to get in trouble for saying it. So I'm going to use that example, and we're going to put it here. So it's low talking, very low, and usually you are upset here. So low talking, you're upset, and it would be, and I'm going to make this one a little sarcastic. So you could say, sure, I want to do that. He muttered. And how would it be? It would be like this. Sure, I want to do that. So if my voice is low, I'm sarcastic, I am muttering, I am mumbling. And final one that I want to do here under low energy is a grunt. A grunt. Now that's a fun word. I'm going to put it over here. Now, just like we had the snap with the anger, a grunt is a little short. It's quick. So it's low energy, it's short, and there's usually a little bit of anger there or tiredness. So this is short, low energy, and you're upset. And there's probably like a little bit of a sound. So for example, if I was grunting, I would say, that's me grunting. And you can tell I didn't even say anything, but you understand my emotional state. That's a grunt. Just that sound. So I'm going to put it as if we were writing. No, it's not cool. He grunted. Again, anyone that has teenagers will understand exactly what a grunt is. All right, so we've looked at all the low energy but emotional ways of saying things. All right, let's move on to something happy. So what I want to do is go through some things that are related or about being happy. Happy emotional states. And the first one I want to look at is promised. Now, this one sounds weird as a way to explain something or as an alternative to said. Now, often when people say something, they'll say what they're going to do. And that's when we can use promised either in writing or in speaking. So, for example, I could say, I will have it done by next week, she promised. So I could use the word said there. I could say said, but promised shows that first, this is positive. She is committed to this, she's reliable, and she's putting her reputation out there. She's saying, I promise I'm going to get this done. So again, it shows more emotion than just she said. She promised this will get done by next week. There's a commitment there. Then another one, to do with being happy. And this is more of when someone is really happy and they're speaking and they don't know what they're saying. And I like these two, is babble or jabber. Babble or jabber. So this is when someone is talking very, very fast and they're really excited and this is happening and it's so exciting and the cake was great and the colors were great and everything was awesome and the music. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just speaking very, very quickly. You probably didn't hear everything I said. I'm babbling. I'm jabbering. Okay, because I'm so excited. I'm so happy. So babble or jabber is to speak very quickly and say many, many things. So I can't even write down all of that because I don't have space and my handwriting is not going to hold out. But you can understand. You can babble and jabber on and on and on about something that's exciting, something that's happening. Babble and jabber obviously don't always have to be happy. You can babble or jabber about something that maybe you're scared or worried about. That is also something because it's over and over again. She's babbling about the exam. She's talking about it over and over and over again. That is babbling or jabber, but I want it to be under the happy because we have to have some happy emotional states as well. Then a good one is joke. Now, we all know what a joke is, but joke can also be used as a verb. And this again is much better than just saying he said. So for example, we could say, no, the train already left, he joked. And straight away, by using it as a verb, we can see that there's something funny happening here. The train obviously did not leave. This guy's having a joke. He's playing. We can even tell his personality just from that. So if I said, no, the train already left, he said, I don't understand exactly what's going on there emotionally. If I say the train already left, he joked, I get it. I know what's happening, and it shows how happy he is. The situation could be happy. It tells a lot. So joke can be used as a verb as well. And one more that I want to use here to do very similar to joke is laugh. So we know what a laugh is. I'm going to make a very fake laugh now. That's a laugh, a really bad fake laugh. And we can use that when explaining about how someone was saying something. And again, it shows the emotion of the person. So we can say, let's say, carrying on from no, the train already left, he joked, and oh, then we will walk, she laughed. So we can tell just from saying she laughed, that she's happy to interact with this guy. They're having a joke, they're laughing, they're happy, they're smiling probably. It shows a lot more emotion than just using said. And especially when telling stories about things that have happened to you, you can see how this is useful to show, oh, I joked about this, we laughed at that. It really heightens, takes the whole story to a different level. All right, we're going to go back to the chat one more time, and then we're going to do the final few emotional states. So let's take a look. I've got one here. Hey, calm down. You are babbling. Very, very nice. Thank you, Naparad. Someone says, nice laugh. Thank you, Kalipan Inkajan. I hope I'm saying these names correctly. Then I will have it done by, oh, that's the one we used. We've got someone from Bangladesh. Okay. All right. Okay, and someone's asked the question, how do we use adverbs? Are these similar to adverbs? And that's a good question. We're looking here at verbs. Babble, promise, joke, laugh, explained. These are all verbs. But if we wanted to do the same thing with adverbs, we could also do that. Okay, we could take said and turn it into another emotional state by using it in an adverb kind of way. Let's just take a look at that because it's a good question. All right, so I could say, I like it. He said. Very, very plain. But if I wanted to use said and give that emotion, I could use kind of an adverb in a way. I could say, I like it, he said, happily. So by putting the happily there, I'm giving that extra bit of emotion. I'm showing that not only is he just saying it in a plain way, he's happy about it. I like it. Maybe he's got a smile on his face. I could also do this for a lot of other adjective kind of words. I could say, I like it, he said, in a happy way. So again, I'm using said, but by adding those extra elements in kind of an adverb kind of a way, I'm showing the emotion. And I could put anything there. I like it, he said, in a scared way. So maybe whoever he's talking to makes him scared. I like it, he said, in a worried way. So it's a good thing, again, to expand your expression. If you get lost and you forget the other words, you can use said, and then you can add on those extra bits to bring that emotion into the story. All right, that was a good question. All right, let's look at our final few emotional states. We've looked at angry, we've looked at happy, we've looked at neutral, not with a lot of emotion, and now we're going to look a little bit at sad. We're going to look a little bit at being sad. Now, the first one I want to look at here is to whine. Now, whine is very similar to moaning or groaning, but remember that was low energy. It was low energy. You didn't want them to hear too much of what you were saying. Whining is being loud and sad and upset, and you want everybody to know about it. Okay? So whining is being sad, upset, and a little loud. Not shouting, but loud. So we could say, this tastes bad. She whined. And how would she say it? She would say, oh, this tastes bad. So she's whining. She wants everybody to know how she feels about it. And she's upset about it. This doesn't taste good, whatever it is. Then we can also use cried. Now, cried for this situation is talking about actual tears that are coming down. Someone is really sad, and we're saying that not only are they speaking, but they're crying at the same time. And we're really illustrating and showing their emotion by doing this. So we could say, I can't believe this. She cried. So she's sad. She's really sad about this. I can't believe this. I mean, I'm not going to cry. Obviously, I can't do that on camera. But we can see that there's emotion here in the story. It's not just said. And we can also have sobbed. Now, sobbed you'll often see in books because writers like the word sobbed. Sobbed is a kind of a step up from crying. This is someone that has those, I'm sure we've all experienced it at some point in our life when you cry and you can't catch your breath. You're kind of sobbing and you're trying to catch your breath at the same time because there's so much emotion rolling over you. And that is sobbing. So you don't get out a whole sentence at the same time. Okay, so it's, I can't believe this. That is sobbing. So much emotion on you. So I'm going to use the same thing, but I'm going to put dots. I can't believe this. She sobbed. So there's so much emotion that she can't control it in a whole sentence. So that is all the ones for being sad. And the final ones that I want to do is when someone is being bossy, when someone is telling you what to do, because obviously that is a whole other situation. Now you've got someone else and they're maybe higher than you, a boss, or someone that is telling you what to do. We need words for that. So that's going to be the final ones that we're going to look at. So this is being bossy. All right, and the first one we have is commanded. Now, a lot of you will have learned that there are different types of sentences in English. One of them is the command. It's when someone tells you what to do. All right, so to command is like you are the general and with the pointing finger like I'm doing here, telling you what to do. So I'm going to make an easy one here. Do your homework. The teacher commanded. Do your homework. The teacher commanded. All right, so he's telling you what to do, being bossy. And again, it's not just he said it, because maybe I could say, do your homework. It's a completely different emotion. If I command you, I've got some power there. I'm pushing you to do it. So it's, again, showing the emotion. Then one that I want to use is urge. Urge. It's such a great word, urge. And maybe you guys have heard it in the word urgent, or when someone, to feel an urge is to feel an emotion inside. But we can also use it when we are explaining how people talk. So when someone urges you to do something, they're trying to get you to do something. So they don't have the authority to point that finger. They can't point the finger and make you do it, but they're pushing you subtly, like, go on, do it, do it. Maybe they want you to buy something. Maybe they want you to agree to something, but they're urging you to do it. So here, the salesman urged him to buy the car. So the salesman wants the sale. He's urging him to buy the car. He can't make him buy the car, but he's pushing. He's pushing. And the final one we're going to look at here is threaten. So threaten is when, again, I can't make you do it. And I'm not pushing you in a little way. I am telling you that if you don't do it, something bad will happen to you. So we could think of a bad example. Maybe someone is stealing or robbing. So they will threaten, like, I've got my gun and give me the money. He threatened. So if you don't give me the money, something bad is going to happen. So threaten is, again, being bossy, but I'm not doing it in a nice way. So threaten means something bad can happen. So we're going to say, give me your money. He threatened. All right, so I think we've covered quite a few emotional states. Let's go and see if there are any more questions here. Someone has asked a question here. How can we use yelled and dictated as an alternate to said? All right, so that's a good one. And that fits right in here, actually. I'll write that word. We could use dictated or yelled here under being bossy. Now, dictated is very similar to commanded. So I have the power, maybe I'm your boss or I'm higher than you in some way, and I can tell you what to do. So we could use the same thing here. Do your homework, the teacher dictated. Maybe we'll put that a bit higher, take it out of the classroom. Let's say, do up your uniform, the general dictated. So now we're in an army. we're listening to the guy. He's telling us what to do. We have to listen. So dictated and commanded, very similar. Dictated maybe has a bit more power. Okay, someone has a lot of power to tell you what to do. Dictated can also be completely separate from emotion. And in a business sense, if I dictate something, it just means that I'm saying it and I need you to write it down. So maybe you're going to be reading something or listening and you're going to hear the word dictated and it's going to be very strange. That doesn't make sense. So in a business sense, dictated just means to write down. Yelled, like we looked at before, is to be angry. We could use it here as well, being bossy. Do your homework. The teacher yelled. So here we understand he has power over the students and he's angry. So both things here now, angry and bossy, are being illustrated in that example. All right, that was a good question. Let's see if we have anything else here. Another question. Do we always have to use all these verbs with the ed form? Now, that's a good question. Now, let's go over that again. These are verbs. As a verb, it depends on the tense. If we're going to use it with an ed, if we're going to use it with an ing, if we're going to use it with a have. So you don't always have to use it with the ed. We're using it that way because we're talking about a simple past tense. But you can say, do your homework, the teacher was commanding. It's not the best sentence, but it would still work. So no, you can change the tense to the ing, to the perfect tense, the continuous, as you need. Let's see if there's any more. People are from Nepal. Thank you for joining us. KKKK, the South Korean laughed. Very good, very good. Thank you, Harry O. What else do we have? All right. Are you threatening me? That's a good use of that word as well. So are you threatening me? Are you telling me something bad is going to happen? And we've got a good one here from Jennifer Aduda. The general commanded the officers to march. Excellent. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and for participating so well. These were such great sentences, such great questions. Remember, like I said, you guys can go and get a big discount on your Cambly subscription. You can use the words go live, and I think you can get up to 36% discount. I'm not exactly sure, but go check it out. Remember, Cambly is a great platform. It's on your phone. It's on the web. You can have lessons in whatever you need. Okay, if you want to just work on your vocabulary, you want to work on conversation, you want to work on IELTS, you're going to find a tutor that's going to work with you. If you want to have some lessons with me, I think my link is going to be in the description below. We will see you again in another class. Thank you for joining us. We're going to say bye for now.